So I posed a question in my Facebook group or like business page, whatever. It's not really a group, but I posed this question about if a child was told to go clean their room, and the parent came back, and 20 minutes later they had found some old book, okay, and they're just sitting there reading, and they haven't done any cleaning in the room. What do you do as the parent? So I posed this question, and I had several teachers that I work with, respond that they would break down the task into smaller chunks. I think that is an ingrained strategy that we have learned to use as teachers. And then one person said that they would, take away privileges. A couple people mentioned how they would put a timer and set the clock, make it into kind of a game. And then my sister said something else, which I was like, yes, that's exactly what you do. She's like, we need more information, right? How old is this kid? What do they have any disabilities? Is there something going on that's causing them to not clean up their room? Do they know the consequences of not cleaning up their room? Things like that, right? And that's exactly how we need to be paying attention to behaviors. We need to become detectives, like scientists and investigators, because behavior is communication. Behavior is communication. Any behavior can be labeled as basically, good or bad, I guess, or acceptable and unacceptable. There are some extremely unacceptable behaviors out in the world. And if we don't have the skills or the knowledge or the support, then we're not going to have those behaviors come into play that are the acceptable behaviors. We're going to have those unacceptable behaviors. So how does somebody go from having a behavior that is unacceptable to having this acceptable behavior? Sometimes we've learned different behaviors, but sometimes it's just like automatic, instinctive. This is how our body is responding. But to become a detective, you have to look at what is the underlying need this behavior is having. So the child sitting in the room, to me, my, idea of knowing the situation or whatever that I was trying to communicate was really focusing on task initiation. So many people have problems with executive functioning, and that is a lot of different skills encompass executive functioning, but task initiation is one of those skills. Typically for people who are on the spectrum or have ADHD or just have different neurodivergent wiring in their brains where it's hard for them to get started. Heck, I'm not even really neurodivergent, but I have issues with this sometimes too. I think all people are going to have issues with things throughout their lives. And different areas of my life, I might have more problems with task initiation, right? So for an example, my alarm clock goes off 6 o'clock, sometimes 5 if I try to get it to be 5 o'clock, right? And my alarm clock is one of those that lights up. It doesn't ring or anything. So slowly wake up. And it's calming to me. Like that's the best way to wake up. It's feeling like the sun is rising, and then I wake up with the sun. And then as soon as that happens, for some reason, my dog knows the time. Does your dog know the time of day? Yes, so my dog knows the time. And she knows that that means that I should be getting up to take her on a walk. And I will hear, we have our door closed, and I just hear her tail like beating that wall. It's just beating that wall. And I can hear her beating that wall. And I'm thinking, she wants me to take her for a walk so badly. And here I am. If I did not sleep through the night completely and get all of the rest, and I don't wake up just super fully refreshed, it is so hard for me to get out of bed. So hard. And then my mind starts to spiral. Do I have my workout clothes ready? Where are my shoes? If they're in the living room, that means I'm going to have to fight the dog underneath me to like put my shoes on. Do I really want to do that? I'm still kind of tired. This bed is warm. It's comfortable. It's cozy. I really don't want to get to bed, even though I really want to go for my walk too, because I know that every morning that I take that walk, I am getting exercise, I'm helping my dog. A lot of times I'm like listening to a podcast or a book or listening to music. It just pumps me up. The sun is rising. It's just beautiful outside most of the time. And I just feel so much better the whole rest of the day if I start my day with a walk. Like, I know how much it benefits me and how much it energizes me. And yet, why do I choose to stay in that bed when I know Molly's already, not Molly's my dog, she's already telling me like, Mama, come on, come on, come on, come on. And still sometimes that's not enough motivation, right? What is the need? What is my behavior doing? What am I needing that's going to help me initiate that task and get into play? And I can go ahead and tell you the answers because I have been detecting this forever. And yet, sometimes I still do not learn my lesson. Honestly, I didn't even get up and walk this morning like I meant to. And that had a lot to do with my preparation. So if I am not prepared, if I don't have my clothes out, sometimes I can just put my clothes on and sleep in them and get up and then have my shoes right by the bed to put on. Like, if I'm prepared, I have my water right next to the sink. Like, if I know and I'm prepared for the walk, I can get out there and do it much, much easier than if I did not prepare that night before. And also, if I know that I do a good enough bedtime routine to get up, then I can get the best sleep that I can. And when that happens, it's easier as well. So I have to have all of these little things in place to help me get to that point. And I also have demonstrated this in a creative way. Obviously, actually, this is my new art studio that I've created in my shed, and we put a lot of work into it, all of my artwork and stuff. Anyway, I'm an art creative person. If you've been on the channel at all, then you probably know I use a lot of creativity to demonstrate things, and or just because I love it. Anyway, so this is an example in a short video that I have created. I showed how I created this little image, and it's really very, very simple. So the point of this is about task initiation. How can we get started with the task, right? And you can start the task, and this is sometimes what I do when I am trying to get ready to go out the door for my walk, is I just repeat myself and I say, like, forget all the other excuses. I can excuse my way out of going like that, right? All the decisions that I have to make leading up to get out of the door can feel overwhelming, and I'm like, I'm stuck. I'm just gonna stay here in bed. But if I build momentum and I say, stand up, stand up, stand up, you start with the very first step. I start with the very first line and I say, that was one thing that I did, the smallest, tiniest little thing that I did. And when you start doing that tiny thing over and over and over and over and over again, and maybe you need to change it up to something different and do that over and over and over and over again, this is building momentum. When you can start the task and build momentum, it can get you going. So back with the child in their room, if you go and say, let's just, I know, I get this is overwhelming. We're breaking it down into the smallest little stuff. Let's collect all of your clothes. Find all of your clothes and put them in the dirty clothes hamper, right? breaking down the step to the tiniest part builds momentum, and sometimes they can get started and get the whole thing done. And that is one of the strategies that you can use for task initiation. And if you're teaching this to someone and you want to show them in a creative way, in a visual way, which is how I like to do and learn and experience what it feels like to build momentum, then this is a great strategy to use. Second strategy that I just recently did and filmed in my little journal book, and you'll see some other like images because you know it's a 2-page deal. Okay, so this is my monster, and sometimes we have tasks that are just like boring, right? We don't want to get started because it's boring. Here's my board monster. Do you see these little eyes? That's my board monster. He is like, I do not care about this, right? So how can we go from being bored and hate the task to enjoying it? So I added in some balloons and his little hat and the sun and some flowers and a little present. These are all added little things that you can do to make a boring task more fun. Race the clock, turn it into a game. Find your method of getting out there. My method for initiating my task to go on my walk is 1, the preparation, obviously, and 2, the knowing exactly what I'm going to listen to. If I know that I have my book club book that I've got to be reading and listening to, then I'm going to already have that on Audible. I already know, yes, I'm going to get up because I really am interested what is going to happen in this book. And finding a really good book that I want to listen to, that I can listen to while I'm going on my walk on the track with Molly. And having Molly there makes it more fun as well. Or listening to your favorite songs, right? Anything that you can think of that makes it more creative to have more fun and make the task not as boring can help initiate and get the task going, which increases your momentum. And there you have it. I've now talked for 12.5 minutes on task initiation with nothing in front of me. I'm so proud of myself. Do you know how hard it is to get on a camera and talk to yourself? It's kind of weird. But anyway, if you are interested in these types of activities, I have a playlist. I forgot exactly what it was called, creative something or another, that lists a bunch of these activities. And follow, subscribe, like. Did you know, if you don't know this, that if you do not engage, comment, like, subscribe, all these kinds of things, then it's hard for a small creator like myself to get out in the world and connect to the people who really need the information that I really want to share with others. So do all the things or whatever you feel comfortable doing, and that helps me so much. And go and be your own behavior detective. Figure out what it is that the behavior is saying and matching that need, and we can figure it out together. So come along. You can even comment what is something that behaviors that you struggle with, or someone you know struggles with, that you are not sure about, and I can give you some questions to help you dive deeper into that as well. So until next time, I'll catch you later.